What we've heard from the Hamas-run health ministry is that 6,000 people were sheltering in the Al-Taba'in school in central Gaza, that there were Israeli airstrikes, which Israel confirms too, by the way, and that some 90 people were injured, most of them women and children. That's the Hamas narrative, and as so often in this conflict, there's a battle of narratives because Israel says that in fact there were Hamas militants and Islamic Jihad militants sheltering in amongst the civilians there. It was a targeted strike that killed them, and they dispute the numbers. I think we've seen this so often in this conflict, and perhaps the reaction of the UK Foreign Minister David Lammy was the most interesting. He accepted both sides' stories, I guess you could put it, and said that Hamas should protect its civilians, not hide its militants amongst them, that Israel should not strike at humanitarian sites like this, even if there are militants there, and he called for a ceasefire. Let's remember that in this week that's just passed, we've heard a similar call from the negotiating nations, the leaders of the negotiating nations, the President of the United States, the President of Egypt, and the Qatari Prime Minister have all said the same thing. Ceasefire now, hostage release now.
Then where do we stand in terms of these ceasefire talks then? Because with the death of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh and Israel's obviously continued brazen attacks across Gaza, are there any hopes that this can move forward?
That's an excellent question. And in fact, what we have heard today from Turkey and from Egypt is that an attack like this means that Israel is not interested in continuing the ceasefire talks. But that's not the view on the ground. You know, we are hearing that Israel is interested, and counterintuitively, we are also hearing that Hamas is interested, even though there was one Hamas from the external leadership, not based in Gaza, who said the same thing. We are hearing from people who speak to Yahya Sinwar, now the leader of Gaza and the whole Politburo since the death of Ismail Haniyeh, that he is interested in a ceasefire deal. That's the signals that he's sending. I don't know the reasons, but experts who speak to him or who speak to journalists who speak to him in Arabic, hearing it also in Hebrew language accounts. So it is an interesting thought that perhaps now there could be a ceasefire deal, despite the fact that we're seeing this ongoing conflict, this ongoing war continuing, including today with this high death toll.